In this lecture, we will start with our topic, that is JSON arrays. Okay, so here we'll know how do we write our JSON arrays. Okay, so here what we'll do, we'll first write our JSON array. How can we write a JSON array? Okay, so when we write our arrays, okay, in the same method, in the same way, we can write our JSON arrays. Okay, so we'll give certain names over here: Ashish, Ankit, and Taboo, suppose. Okay, here we'll give. So here we are getting an error. Okay, suppose like this. So we have three array names over here. Okay, so what we want is we want to access these names. Okay, so here what I will do, I will simply store it in a variable, that is ARR. Okay, now what I want to access this Ankit over here. Okay, so how can we access the array? So in the previous lectures we have learned by the help of index position we can access the array. Okay, so like this. So first we'll access our array, that is ARR, and then we'll mention the position. Okay, suppose we want to access this Ankit. Okay, so this is at the second position. That means array counting starts from 0. Okay, so 0, then 1. Okay, so we'll simply put the position as 1 and it will console log this output over here. Okay, and simply we'll wrap this whole thing in this console log thing. Now when we save this, we'll get our output as Ankit because we are targeting the first position element. Okay, means the second position element, it is because it is starting from 0, so it will be considered as the second position. Okay, so we'll open our inspector and we'll refresh. So you can see we are getting our name as Ankit over here. Okay, so here when we change the position to 2, we'll get the name as Tabu, but when we change it to 3, will not get anything. It will be undefined. Okay, because no name is there. Okay, so it will come undefined because anything is not present here. Okay, no names are present at the fourth position. Okay, so in this way, by this index position we can access our arrays. Okay, now how can we loop through an array? So we can also loop through an array by using the for in loop. Okay, like this. Here for with the help of this for in loop, but generally we loop arrays by the for loop. Okay, as we have done here. Okay, the common for loop like this. So I will show you how do we loop through an array. Okay, so here simply we'll use a for loop. So we'll simply use the normal syntax of the for loop, variable I equals to 0, and then I should be always less than the array dot length. Okay, like this, and then I will increment that particular position. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll take an empty variable over here. Okay, here in which we want to output our result. So x equals to an empty string over variable x equals to an empty string like this. So in this variable we will output all of our arrays. Okay, so here we'll simply add and store the result. Okay, so first we will add and then we'll store our result. So we are using this format over here. Okay, we are looping first and then we are adding and then we are storing it in the same variable. We are adding in the same variable and we are again storing in the same variable, that is this x variable over here. So we want access of this uh, these names. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll simply use ARR and then the index position. So this I will loop through all of the names. Okay. So we'll simply mention I over here and that's all. Okay. We want to access this I over here. Okay. Means array I means actually it will first loop through the first position, then the second position, then the third position, like this. So it will loop through all of the positions like this. So we are incrementing here. Okay, so you can see we are incrementing here. So it will move till it will loop 3 times. Okay, because we are mentioning array.length, that is length is 3. So it will move till 2. Okay, so here if we mention 2 over here like this, so it will start from 0 1. Sorry, I will give here 3. Okay, because the array length is 3 over here, so it will loop 2 times, because 3 times, sorry. So it will start from 0, then it will go to 1, then it will go to 2. Okay, and then when it will come to 3, then you can see here the condition is not matched. Okay, if here will put equals to, then the condition is matched. Here the condition is not matched, so it will move out of the for loop. Okay, so we'll not write manually here, we'll use our length property like this. Okay, so always keep in mind to use this length property when you are looping through arrays. Okay, so here what I will do, I will console log the x over here. Okay, so I will console log the x and I will save it, and now I will refresh it. So here you can see we are getting our 3 names, that is Ashish, Ankit and Tabbu. Okay, so we have our 3 names, that is this, and we are looping through all of these names with the for loop, and we are storing outputting this ARR I all these names and storing it in this variable over here, and we are console logging this particular variable. So this is all about JSON arrays. So we have finished our JSON. So we have studied about JSON objects, JSON arrays, and how we can store data and how we can retrieve data through local storage. And then we have studied about JavaScript notation, object notation, that is JSON, how we can convert the object into JSON or how we can do vice versa. Okay, so we have studied all of these. Now we'll move to our next topic, that is jQuery. Okay, so jQuery is basically is a JavaScript framework which makes our work easier. Okay, so any framework, when any framework is used, it is used for the easier, means for easy purpose. Okay, so we'll go to our W3 schools. Here we will see our jQuery. Okay, so I will tell you a basic of jQuery. Okay, in depth you will be known when you will take the jQuery course. Okay, I will tell you the basics only. Okay, so here you can see jQuery was designed to handle browser incompatibilities and to simplify HTML DOM manipulation, event handling, animations, and Ajax. Okay, so it is used to do these tasks. Okay, HTML DOM manipulation, event handling, animations, and Ajax. Okay, so it has been the most popular JavaScript library in the world. Okay, so it is a good library actually. So here you can see we can make our code short. Okay, so with jQuery, with JavaScript, suppose we can target our element. Okay, like this. So we want to target our ID, so we can target it by this selector over here, that is document.getElement by ID, because we have to target that particular ID. But when we use jQuery, we simply have to write $, and then if it is a if it is an id, use hash. If it is a class, use dot. Okay, so I will show you how we can do that. So here you can see we have three IDs. Okay, ID 01, ID 02, and ID 03. So we are targeting this first ID over here. So we are simply writing how we are targeting. We are simply writing, this is the jQuery format. Okay, so this dollar sign is basically used for targeting. Okay, here you can see we are writing such long code, document.getElement by ID. But in jQuery, sorry, uh, here for for targeting, we are just using dollar sign over here. So here you can see we are targeting this particular ID by just using dollar, and if it is an ID, we are mentioning hash over here. Okay. So suppose here if this particular thing will be class. Okay. Suppose I will change it to class. So class is targeted by dot operator. Okay, like this. So here you can see we are targeting this class id01 and we are targeting it by dot. Okay, we don't have to unnecessarily write document.getElement by id or document.getElements by class name. You only have to write dollar sign, and then if it is a class, put a dot and then the name of that particular id or class. Okay, if it is an if it is a if it is an id, then mention hash over here and then the id of that particular tag. Okay, so simply run it, it will give the same result. You can see we are getting our hello world over here from this line of code. Okay, so we are using class over here, so we are targeting the class by dot. Okay, so for DOM manipulation, we just use dollar sign. We don't have to use these long codes. Okay. Suppose it is a ID, so we have to target like this. Okay. So here you can see when we target it by its tag name, so we have to in JavaScript we have to write document.getElements by tag name. Okay. But in jQuery we simply have to write dollar sign. This means we are targeting this particular, that is inside the parenthesis, we are targeting this thing over here. Okay, so we are targeting the p tag over here. So simply write p means we are targeting the p tag. Okay, like this. We don't have to write this code over here. And here I've told you, if we want to target by its class name, simply put a dot over here. Okay, if it is a class, put a dot over here. Okay, like this. Here you can see we are now using CSS selectors. Okay, suppose we have more than one class. Okay, means we have the same name of more than one class. So here you can see we have three classes of the same name, intro and intro. Okay, and all are in the p tag. Okay, so how can we differentiate that? Okay, so we can first target the p tag, then the intro. Okay, so if it is a different tag h1 or this is h2, like this, so you can target this particular intro. If you want to target the first intro, so you can target it by first you can use the p tag over here, then dot means it indicates that it is a class, that is a dot intro over here. Okay, if you want to target h1, so you can simply write h1 over here, h1 dot intro. Okay, so first we are targeting the tag h1 over here, and then we are targeting the class over here. Okay, like this. So in jQuery we simply have to write p dot intro. Okay, we don't have to use document dot query selector all. Okay, why we are using query selector all? Because here we are targeting more than one class. Okay, so here we have the same name as three classes. Okay, we have three intro classes, so we are taking the all. Okay, so it will target all the classes over here. Okay, so here I will change. Suppose here you can see we are targeting p dot intro, means p dot intro, it has three, it is in the three places. Okay, so we are taking the all. Document dot query selector also will get a node list. Okay, so when node list comes, so we have to target that particular thing by its index position. Okay, so we are targeting the zero position. Zero position means this is the zeroth position. Okay, suppose I will change it to 1 over here. Now check this line over here. Okay, it will change to hello Sweden. When we run it, so here you can see now hello Sweden comes. So it is coming from here. Okay, so now we are targeting the second position over here. Okay, so first we are targeting the first position by the zero index. Now we are targeting the second position by the first index. Okay, like this. So the counting starts from zero. So we can, if we are using query selector all in JavaScript, when we use query selector all, always it returns a node list. So when node list comes, we have to target the elements by its index position. Okay, so it is like an array actually. Okay, so you have to target the like you have to target the elements by its index position. Here you can see is don't have to write document.query selector. You just have to use this dollar sign over here, and then you have want to target the p. Then first write p, then you want to target the class. So write that class name over here, and you will get that particular output. Now we'll move to our next topic, that is jQuery HTML. Okay, so we have discussed about jQuery selectors. Now we will move to our jQuery HTML. jQuery HTML means, so when we set the HTML, inner HTML or inner text, so we use this inner text and inner HTML by for setting the particular JavaScript thing into our browser. Okay, so here you can see when we use JavaScript, so we have to write, so we haven't used this text content, so it is similar to inner text. Okay, so the inner HTML or inner text. Okay, so suppose here I'll change it to inner text like this, so it will give the same result over here. Okay, so both the things are equal, so we can write inner text or inner HTML. So here you can see we are first targeting the this particular ID over here, this particular ID h2 id is 01, and then we are assigning it to my element dot inner text. Means we want to target this, we are targeting this, and we are assigning the inner text to hello Sweden. First it is hello world, and now we are changing it to hello Sweden. Okay, so we are assigning inside this h2 we want to assign the text as hello Sweden. Okay, so we are first targeting the id, first id, the 01 id, and we are storing it in this variable, and then we are changing the inner text. Okay, so the my element dot inner text means this text over here, so we are changing it to hello Sweden over here. So we can change the inner text in the JavaScript by using this inner text method or inner HTML method. Okay, but when we are using jQuery, we simply have to write dot text. Okay, so here you can see we are just writing text. So what we have done, we are first targeting this id 01 id, and then we are storing it in this variable over here, and then inside that we are just writing my element dot text. So we don't have to use inner text. Okay, we just have to use text, and then the provide that particular text that you want to remove. Okay, sorry, that you want to add actually. Okay, so here you want to add hello Sweden. Okay, so instead of hello world, hello Sweden will be override. Okay, will be overwritten. Okay, so in this way we can add text to a particular element. Okay, now in the next method, here you can see here it is saying my element dot text content or my element dot inner text, so you can write either of these. Okay, so both are equal. So here we are getting the text. Okay, so we are targeting the demo over here. Just a minute. So here we are. Okay, so here in this inner HTML we'll discuss. So in JavaScript we are writing inner HTML. Okay, so here we'll go to this. So inside this we are writing inner HTML. Okay, so it will target this hello world only. Okay, means the text inside the HTML. Okay, suppose here if we change it to inner text like this, so it will consider the whole text. Okay, so it will not treat this p and this p as HTML. Okay, it will consider whole thing as a text. Okay, suppose when we run, you can see we are getting our whole thing as text in a text form. Okay, suppose here when we use inner HTML like this, so it will consider this both the p as a HTML. Okay, so it will only take that particular text that is inside this p tag. Okay, so it is taking only that particular p tag. Okay, so this is the difference between inner HTML and the inner text. So inner HTML differentiates between the normal HTML and a text. Okay, but inner text only understands the text format. Okay, so here what we are doing, here we have, so by this inner HTML format, so we are taking the ID02, this ID02, and we are storing it inside this my element, and we are assigning dot inner HTML means assign that particular this particular thing inside this 02 over here. Okay, so now it changes to paragraph over here. Okay, so this changes to paragraph. Okay, first here we are assigning it into like here we are assigning it to id02. Okay, that is h2. Okay, so we are changing it to hello world over here. Okay, you can see we are changing it to hello world. First it is hello Sweden, so we are changing it to hello world by assigning this inner HTML. We are changing it by the property of inner HTML. Okay, so we are targeting this ID, and then we are changing the text or the inner HTML of this ID. Okay, now this is done by using JavaScript. Now we'll see our jQuery part. Okay, so we just have to use, instead of inner HTML, we just have to use HTML. So when we are using inner text, we simply have to write text. Okay, and in this case, instead of inner HTML, we simply have to use .html, means only HTML. Okay, so we are targeting the second ID over here. We are targeting the second ID, and then we are only we are storing that particular whole thing, this particular id02 into this variable over here my element, and then we are changing that particular HTML, okay, into this hello world by using the HTML property over here. So instead of inner HTML, we just have to use only HTML. Okay, so it makes our code short. Okay, so this is the use of framework. Okay, so it makes our code clean and short. Let us first clear all of these. So here we are getting the inner HTML and HTML. So now here you can see, here we are getting the text. Okay, so with the help of with JavaScript, we can see we are getting the inner text as inner text only. Okay, we don't have we it understands only the text. So here you can see with the JavaScript we can target the this. So first what we are doing here, we are targeting the ID 02, that is this ID over here, the second ID, and then we are like here with the help, and then we are storing it in this variable over here. Okay, then what we are doing is we are assigning my element dot text content dot my element dot inner text, means we are targeting this value over here, hello Sweden. Okay, and then we are storing that hello Sweden in this particular text over here, and then what we are doing, we are assigning this my text into this demo. Okay, so we are targeting this demo over here dot this demo, and we are writing dot inner HTML, means we want to target this particular space over here, okay, inside this p tag, okay, and then we are outputting this my text, that is hello Sweden, inside this demo id, okay. So first we are targeting this id, and then we are extracting this hello Sweden value, and we are outputting this hello Sweden inside this demo id, okay. So this all things are done using JavaScript. Now how can we do that using jQuery, okay. So here what we are doing, we are just assi- assigning this, we are just targeting this second id over here, and then we are storing it in a variable, and then by using the myelement dot text, okay. So you can see here we are assigning a parenthesis after text, okay. So it will extract the value, okay. So it will extract the text that is inside this my element, okay. So my element is this whole value over here, okay. So we want to extract this hello Sweden, okay. So using jQuery, this text method helps to extract the text of that particular tag, okay. So by element dot text it will extract this hello Sweden and store it in this my text variable over here, okay. So now this my text has this hello Sweden. Now we'll target our demo, we want to output this hello Sweden inside this id, okay. So we'll first target this id over here by using this dollar hash demo, okay. And then we will assign this text inside this. So we'll use our dot text method over here, and inside this which text we want to assign, so we'll provide that text over here, my text, okay. So by using the text method here, we don't have to write text like here when we are using this like this. So here we are assigning a string. Okay, so here we are not assigning a string. We are simply assigning a variable over here. Okay, we are not assigning a string. Here we are assigning a variable. So we are not providing codes over here. Okay, so we are assigning this variable inside this text. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, so we are assigning like this. So we are talking about text now. Now we'll talk about HTML over here. So the same method. So here we are targeting first this second ID over here, this second ID, and then we are storing, and then we are targeting the HTML. Okay, so this whole thing over here. Okay, so we are targeting the HTML thing, and we are storing it inside the content. Okay, so here you can write it in two lines. Okay, here it is written in one line. Okay, here you can see we are targeting, just a minute, here you can see we are writing it in three lines. Okay, so first we are targeting, and then we are extracting the value, okay. And here what we are doing, here we are targeting and extracting the value in the same line, okay. So in this particular line, here we are targeting the value and inside, and now what it does is it extracts the value, that is this hello Sweden, okay. So .html means it is extracting this value over here, and it's storing it, it is stores it in this content variable. Now we will target this, we want to output this inside 01, okay, 01 id. Now we'll target this id, so we are targeting this id by this method, and then we are writing we want to output, so we'll use .html, and then we'll pass that variable, that is this hello, that has this text, okay, that hello Sweden text. So it is inside this content variable, so we'll pass this content variable inside this parenthesis, okay. So in previous cases we are assigning a string, now we are assigning a variable over here, okay. So that's all for HTML part. Okay, so I'm only teaching the basics. Okay, we are not going to advanced part of the jQuery. Okay, if you want to learn more, you can take the jQuery course. Now we will move to our next topic, that is, so we have covered all of these in jQuery is stable. Now we will move to our jQuery CSS. Okay, so in jQuery, when we are using JavaScript, so we have to use this thing over here. When we are using inline CSS, so we have to use dot style dot display and then the property of that and then the value of that property. Okay, here you can see. So we are targeting this ID, second ID over here, and then what we are doing is we are assigning a style, means we are assigning a particular style to that particular ID, and then what we are doing, we are giving a value. Okay, so we are giving a value of display over here, and we are assigning the value as none. Okay, means remove this style. Okay, remove this display over here. Suppose we can also change the color green like this, and we'll hit run. So here you can see we are changing the styling. Okay, so when we are using CSS, inline CSS, so we are changing the style like this. Okay, so we have to use dot style and then the property of that thing. Okay, suppose we want to change the color or the background color, so mention that property over here and then the value of that particular property. Okay, so here we are assigning the green color, so we are giving the value as green. Okay, so it is compulsory dot style, we have to mention dot style in JavaScript. I'm talking about JavaScript, not jQuery. Okay, so you have to simply mention dot style and then the property name over here and then the value. Okay, so we can do in inline styling like this in JavaScript. Now we'll talk about jQuery. Okay, so here you can see we don't have to provide any styling over here. So jQuery provides a hide method. Okay, so here you can see for hiding we have to initialize the property that is display as none. Okay, but jQuery provides a method or a property, you can say property, that is hide. Okay, so we just have to write dot hide. Okay, if you want to hide this property, this ID over here, so target this ID and then assign this hide property inside that particular ID. Okay, so here you can see we are not seeing this hello Sweden inside this browser. Okay, so it is hiding this particular id over here. Okay, so here we are in JavaScript, we are doing it by style.display equals to none, but in jQuery we are simply writing dot hide method over here or hide property. Okay, we don't have to write all these extra lines over here. In the same way, when we want to show a particular thing, so in jQuery we simply have to use dot show. Okay, we don't have to use dot style dot display equals to an empty string. Okay, like this. So here you can see we are targeting this hello Sweden over here, and we want to assign an empty string. Suppose what I will do, I will write something. Suppose let's see what happens now. Okay, here you can see nothing is appearing here. Okay, so by an empty string we can show the element over here. Here we are assigning this display as none and we are showing it like this. Okay, by assigning this display as an empty string. Okay, here we are making display none of on all the h2. Okay, but when we want to show something, assign this property over dot style dot display equals to an empty string, so it will show that particular id. Okay, so here we are targeting the second id, so it is showing the second id value. Okay, so for showing a particular uh, tag, okay, you just have to use dot style dot display equals to this empty string over here. Okay, now we want to style it. Okay, suppose here you have seen in JavaScript we are writing like this dot style, then the property name dot font size equals to the value of that particular property. Okay, so in JavaScript we write in this way over here. Okay, but in jQuery we write like this. My element means I will show you. So we are targeting this demo over here. Okay, that is this demo ID over here, and then we want to change the font size of this text over here. Okay, so we are simply targeting this particular demo and we are storing it in a variable. Now we want to change the CSS. So simply use dot and then CSS, and then inside parentheses the first parameter is the property name, that is the font size, and then the value of that particular property. Okay, so here we want to change the property and of the font size of that particular text to 35 pixel. Suppose here we can also change the color to yellow like this. So we are just mentioning that .css text over here, and inside parenthesis we are, the first parameter is the property name and the second parameter is the value of that property. Okay, so when we hit run, you can see our color, font color changes to yellow. Okay, so in this way we can change our CSS or styling of that particular ID that we are targeting. Okay, so we simply have to use .css and then first the property and then the value of that property over here. Okay, so in this way you can target or change the CSS styles in jQuery. So we have learned about how do we change CSS styles in jQuery. Okay. Now we'll move to our next topic, that is jQuery DOM. Okay. So how can we use our DOM manipulation in jQuery? Okay. So we have learned in JavaScript. Now we'll learn how do we use in jQuery. Okay. So we'll first close all these tabs. Okay. So for removing elements, when we are using JavaScript, so we are using this line of code. Okay, like this. So here what we are doing, we have our 2h2 that has an ID of 01 and ID 02. Okay, so we are targeting the first ID and storing it in this variable, and then we are targeting the parent node dot remove child. Okay, means remove the child element. Okay, we want to remove which child, so here we are targeting the parent node. Okay, so element dot parent node dot remove child. So this is the property, or you can see this, that DOM provides us. Okay, so this parent node and this remove child property is the property that DOM provides us. Okay, so we want to remove which child, so we'll pass that particular child inside this remove child property over here. Okay, so we have studied this thing over here, parent node dot remove child, and our, here you can see we have, when we were talking about nodes, so here we have studied about our list, remove child. Okay, here you can see we have studied about remove child. Okay, so this is the same thing of there when we were using the remove child property, that is the same thing, we want to remove that particular child. Okay, so in DOM here, just a minute, I will show you one more thing. So when we are talking about nodes, so it, just a minute. So you can see here, here we are using the parent node property to find the parent. Okay, so we can directly target the, we can write like this parent dot remove child, or we can use this parent node property over here. Okay, so this is kind of optional over here. Okay, we can simply directly target this element over here and we can store it in a variable, and we can simply use parent dot remove child and we can pass that particular child that is to be removed. Okay, and we can also use like this. Okay, child dot parent node dot remove child. Okay, means we are targeting this child and its parent, and then we are removing the particular, we are using this remove child property and then assign that particular variable that is to be removed. Okay, so here we are targeting this p1, so we want to remove this child over here, so we are passing this child inside this remove child property. Okay, so we are talking about this thing over here. Okay, but in so we have seen how do we remove a child in JavaScript. Now we will see how do we remove an element in jQuery. Okay, so it is very simple. Simply jQuery provides a remove method over here. So target that particular ID over here. Here you can see target this. We are targeting this ID by using dollar sign, and we are simply assigning a method. Okay, that is our remove method. Okay, so we are not doing anything. We are simply writing a remove method. Okay, so this is provided by our jQuery. Okay, so only write remove. It will remove that particular element from your browser. Okay, so we don't have to unnecessarily use this line of code in jQuery. You simply have to write remove and it will remove that particular element. Okay, here when we want to access the parent element, so what we do is we use this my element dot parent node. Okay, suppose here you can see we are targeting first the id. Okay, we are targeting the id and we are storing it in this my parent. So what we want is we want the parent node of this id, this h2 class. Okay, so which is the parent, so this is the parent of this h2. Okay, so this is the parent and this all are the childs of this parent. Okay, these are all the childs of this body. Okay, that is the parent. So we want to access the parent. So how we can access the parent node? By using the dot parent node property. Okay, like this we can access our parent node. Okay, so we are storing this parent node and then we are storing it in this variable. Now we want to output it in this demo id over here, so we'll target this demo and we'll write, we want to output it inside this, so we'll use inner html equals to my parent means this and the name of that particular node. Okay, so we want to access the node name. Okay, suppose I will clear this and I will simply output this my parent. Let's see what is the result. So here you can see we are not getting our node name. Okay, so it is simply giving an object or HTML body element. Okay, we are not getting our node name. Okay, so here by the help of node name we can know the name of that particular parent. Okay, so by this parent node method over here we can access this body over here, and by this node name we can know the name of that particular node. Okay, whether parent node or okay or any node. Okay, by this we can know the name of that particular node. So it is so simple. So in this JavaScript we are accessing like this my element dot parent node. Okay, so this parent node is the thing by which we can access our parent node. And when we use jQuery, we simply have to use the parent like this. Okay, so by this method we can access our parent. Okay, so here we are targeting the second id. Okay, this second id over here, and we are targeting its parent. Its parent is body over here. Okay, so we want to output it in this demo id, so we'll target this demo id and we'll use our dot text in order to output our result. And then inside this what we are doing is we are targeting this my parent. Okay, this variable, and we are using this like this dot prop node name. Okay, so in JavaScript you can see we are simply using dot node name property. Okay, but in jQuery we have to use the dot prop, means prop is the short form of property. Okay, so my parent dot prop, and in the parenthesis give the node name of that particular parent. Okay, So here we are directly accessing the node name. Okay. So this is the parent node. Parent node. This is the body actually, and then we are accessing the my parent that is stored. This body is stored in this my parent, and then we are accessing the node name. Okay. So actually the body over here. Okay. So the my parent dot node name, and in jQuery, what we are doing, we are storing this body inside this my parent, okay, and we are outputting this my parent, and we want to know the particular name of the parent. Okay, so we'll use dot prop and then the node name property over here. So we can't directly use my parent dot node name in jQuery. Okay, we have to use dot, then prop, and that the name of that property, that is node name. Okay, so it is kind of, yeah, like we are targeting, we can't directly access the node name property over here. So we have to use this dot prop method, and inside this we can pass our node name property over here. Okay. So in this way we can access our node name. Sorry, in this way we can access our parent node, and we can know the node name of that particular parent. Okay. So this is all for jQuery. Okay. So we have learned about the basics of jQuery. Okay, so we are coming towards the end of our course. Okay, so here we'll talk about web storage API. Actually, we have studied it earlier, that is the local storage. Okay, so this is the West Web API. Okay, storage API. It is used for storing and retrieving data in the browser. Okay, so we have studied about local storage, how we can store data and how we can retrieve data. Okay, so by the set item we can set that particular data, and by using the get item we can get that particular data. In set item we have two parameters. First is the name of the file that we want to name that particular file in which we'll store that data, and then the second parameter is the variable that we the data that we want to store in this file. Okay, so this is the name of the file and this is the data we want to store. Okay, and in this get item we have only one parameter, that is the name of the file. Okay, so only provide that particular name of the file. So here you can see it is supported in all the browsers. Okay. So here you can see it is talking about the set item method and the get item method. Okay. So we have studied about both the things. So we haven't studied about session storage. Okay. So it is kind of identical to the local storage. Okay. So the difference is that the session storage object stores data for one session. Okay. So here you can see when you will close the browser. Okay. So this session data will be deleted. Okay, here you can see the data is deleted and the browser is closed. Okay, but when we are using local storage, even if you like close the browser and then again reopens, the storage will be, local storage data will be there. Okay, but when we use session storage, it will not be there after closing the browser. Okay, if you close the browser and then reopens, this session storage data will be removed. Okay, so this is the difference between local storage and session storage. Session storage is stores data for only one session. Okay, so this gives certain properties and methods, that is the length, get item, set item, remove item, all these properties. Okay, so we haven't studied about remove item. Okay, so we have used our set item and we have used our get item. Okay, so in the same way we can use our remove item, so it will remove that particular item from our local storage. Suppose we want to remove this particular file over here. Okay, this file, test file over here. So simply use this remove item like this, so it will remove this particular file from this local storage over here. Okay, so these are certain methods and properties that local storage web storage API gives us. Okay, so simply use this remove item and this file will be removed from your local storage. Okay, so here you can see the browser support. It is supported from 4 version onwards, 8 version onwards, Internet Explorer, and this is supported from 3.5 version onwards. Okay, so you can see the browser support, and you can use the selected methods and properties. Okay, so and one more thing, you can go to the references and you can see all the reference parts. Okay, so here you can see JavaScript reference, all are the objects, DOM reference, APIs. You can see all the objects reference are there. Okay, so you can see all of these. Okay, so here you can see you have various things. Okay, so these are all the objects you can go through. Okay, so these are the objects. Okay, because when we go back here, you can see we have our HTML DOM objects. Okay, so here you can see all are the references. Okay, so you can go through all of these. Okay, so we can use suppose article, aside, so anything. Okay, you can use any tag over here. Okay, so data list. Okay, all of these are the tags. Okay, so you can go through all of these tags one by one. Okay, so we have covered almost all of the things in JavaScript. Okay, so here we go back. Okay, so we have covered all of the things here. Okay, so I will end this lecture over here now. So I will move to our next topic in the next lecture.